Welcome to our YouTube channel on Success and Women. Women helping women.
Come join us.
See you soon. Welcome to this week's episode of Success and Women. I'm Linda.
I'm Andrea.
And today we're going to talk about workplace confrontations. But before we get started, Andrea's got her tip for the week.
Well, ladies, you know, in the old days, we used recipe books to do our recipes and do our cooking. And if you look at those cookbooks, they're full of stains.
They are.
You know, because when you're either frying or using your blender, everything's splattering. Well, nowadays, we use our iPads. So to save your iPad from all that splatter, before you start, put a film of saran wrap. And that'll keep the grease and the batter from getting on your iPad. And it's after you're done, just whip it off and throw it in the garbage. And that's my tip.
I love that tip.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, recently there was a situation, and this was going on even in my own office, but I know this has gone on, I'll say throughout the ages, because
Absolutely.
way back when I worked for the federal government, I also had a confrontation happen, and
With another woman? Or?
with another woman,
Okay.
but what happened was the fact that we were of equal, I'll say, status in the workplace. And this, because I was the newbie on the block,
Uh-huh.
this person was taking advantage of me like I was their personal slave.
Wow.
And in the end, what happened was my review that I got was actually barely satisfactory. And this is a government job, and I've never been barely satisfactory anywhere. So once I got that, I actually did a rebuttal of everything that was listed in there.
Good for you.
But Andrea, the thing is, I was naive, I was young.
Of course.
I'm coming to the big city because this was my promotion from Sudbury coming to Toronto. This was my first introduction. And I was just willing to do whatever it took, to please people.
Right.
And so I didn't know that she wasn't allowed to do what she was doing.
Wow.
In the end, I ended up with my rebuttal, and my boss at the time had said, who wrote this? I said, well, I wrote it. But giving her all the whole breakdown of what happened. In the end, my boss actually replaced this person that was supposed to be training me, not using me as their personal secretary or slave. Anyway, with somebody else, and all of a sudden I became fully satisfactory at the next thing.
Perfect.
But why this came to head recently is because we had a situation in the current office that I work in, and so one of the young ladies was friends with another of the same level, all admin people, and they were friends. And so the one lady asked the other one about, a situation about a courier going out because her friend took care of that stuff. Anyway, in the end, she said, yes, it went out. There was no problem. But then her friend, who wanted a receipt, didn't ask for the receipt of the courier and went to her boss. And then, of course, the boss said, something to the girl because she didn't give her that. But her friend never asked for that. So she confronted her friend, her supposed friend, and said, why didn't you just ask me for that if that's what you wanted?
Exactly.
In the end, it got so blown out of proportion that now they're not friends.
Aww.
But what also happened was that her friend now sabotaged her relationship with all the other admin people by preventing her from having lunch, which was the hour that she got to socialize with all the other people, that she worked with. And so they forced her to change her lunch hour, so now she had to have lunch by herself.
Wow, that's crazy.
And in the workforce, we're supposed to be supporting each other.
And
as
when
women,
you think about it, it hasn't been that long that women were not even in the workforce. We had to fight for that. Now we are in the workforce, and we're climbing the ladders, we're getting higher positions, we're doing men's jobs that were typically just for a man. So we shouldn't be bickering at each other or putting each other down or getting each other into trouble. We should be building each other up and giving hints or training them, or maybe you know something that will help you do something quicker or better. Do it. Don't hold back and think, well, I don't want them to look better than me. Like, come on, there's room for everybody.
And it's true. And, in this situation that I mentioned, the one lady works for her group of people, and she is the boss of the other people that are admin that work below her. But why would you want to, if you're friends with this person, why would you want to get them into trouble? Why wouldn't you just communicate, can I have a receipt for that courier going out?
Exactly. Like they say, why sweat the small stuff? Just go and ask. And this is a woman that clearly is devious and wants to make herself look better. Right. And it is typical of some women because they want to be promoted first. They want to get higher. But, I think a boss looks at you more favorably if you're helping others.
Yes.
If you're lifting others up, rather than running to them with every little problem, because they know that, I know my sister has an issue at her work also, and her boss knows what this other woman is about. You don't have to point things out, even though she does, but it's affecting her day-to-day job, like her nerves, so she always tells her, don't worry, I see, I know. So sometimes it's better if you're the person being trampled on, to just sit back and let them destroy themselves. They'll
True.
Eventually, unless it's very damaging, then you have to have a backbone.
Well, and that's a good point, the backbone, because as I was telling my assistant who mentioned this situation to me, and my assistant helps everybody, and everybody knows they can go to her if they have a problem with anything, because she will always help. And but she was just telling me, and I said to her, I said, you need to tell this girl she has to get a bit of a backbone, because she can't be trampled on at the workplace because somebody is power tripping.
Right.
Because in the end, she could actually, because she worries about, losing her job if she says anything. And she did ask her friend, why didn't you just ask me? She said, I would have told you. Well, then that friend has made it almost her vendetta now to cause problems for this young lady. And it's kind of like, but now she's got to stand up and just say, listen, I tried my lunch hour later, but who wants to eat alone?
Right.
So just say to her boss, I prefer to go have my lunch between 12 and 1.
It probably bothers her because
it does.
It's almost like they are blaming her.
Yes.
That it was her fault and she's being punished.
Yes.
And that affects your day-to-day going to work. You feel more miserable. It affects everything.
Well, even your self-esteem.
And
you feel like you're not doing your job almost.
Right.
And we know, because we can give her anything, and she's always so willing to help people. And that's why she couldn't even understand. But you see, maybe that other person who supposedly was her friend is going through an issue.
Right.
Not just that she's power tripping, but something is going on in her life. And maybe these issues are being carried on.
And that's how she makes herself feel better.
She does.
Yeah.
By putting down somebody else.
And it could be something in her personal life that she's carrying to work.
Yeah.
And that's another thing we always talk about is, how your personal life can be so affected by gossip or miscommunication. And my thing my whole life is, if somebody says to me that somebody has gossiped or said something about me that I know is not true, I don't have a problem confronting. I pick up the phone, and it's happened, 2 or 3 times, and you fix it right away, or you end the relationship, So otherwise, I know people that don't talk for 20 years over something. When I say, well, why?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure. I can't remember, but it couldn't have been that important or that significant that you can remember. Like, to me, that would have to be something life altering, like you hurt my child, or you know, burnt my house down or something, you know, not well, they, you know, did this or did that, and that was it. And did you ask them about it? Well, no, but so and so told me. Well, don't listen to other people, because a lot of other people want to see your relationship maybe with that person destroyed, or they're just that type of a person. They're bitter themselves, they're envious, they want, and they don't like that you're happy and your life is good. They want to destroy it, or at least, well, like they say, misery loves company.
That's true. But I remember you telling me a story about one of your very, very best friends. And yeah, it's not me. But the thing is, you know, this is a relationship that, Andrea, you've had for a long time. And you told me about some gossip that you had heard that this friend had said. But because of you being so direct and thought, okay, I can't believe it, but if it's true, I'm going to find out.
Right.
And by confronting the situation, you're still best friends.
Right. Because it wasn't true.
Yeah.
And if we had just took that other person's word, we wouldn't be friends today. And we still are very, very close. And it's a relationship that I would have really missed in my life, because they are very important to us.
But this other person who gossiped about it, are they still in your life?
No. But for other reasons.
No, but it doesn't matter though.
Yeah.
The fact was, that's the kind of person that they were in the end.
Yes.
And you can't trust those kind of people.
That's right. That's right.
What you want is, if you're going to be gossiping about somebody, it's going to be the good stuff, saying all these great things. Yes, like, oh, did you hear so-and-so just got a promotion at work?
Right.
They deserve it.
Yeah.
You know, like building
people up.
And,
and especially in the workplace.
Oh.
If you're a woman and another woman gets a promotion, please, you know, say congratulations, pat them on the back. And even like our friend, when we went to see her in Sudbury, she just got a beautiful home.
Oh my God, yes, gorgeous.
Because she was recently widowed, which was very sad. And she got a beautiful home, and we loved it. And I just kept saying over and over how wonderful it was and how gorgeous it was. Instead of saying, oh yeah, that's nice. Mine's better.
Yeah, good for them. Because that's what I've had people do. When I would say something nice about somebody, I've had friends go, oh, good for them. Like, what do you mean good for them? It is good for them.
And be happy for them. You know, because life's hard enough without people adding added stress and things that aren't true, or heartache on them. You know, everybody needs that to be lifted up. And you know, you can even be the happiest person in the world, but every day can't be, you know, yippee-ki-yay, you know, one day you have a bad day. So you hope that maybe somebody you lifted will lift you up.
Absolutely. And it was funny because I was listening to Joel Osteen recently. And
I love his show. If you have it, if you really want to be lifted up, listen to Joel Osteen.
Oh my God, it was incredible. So he had a guest on, and it was Terry Crews. He's I guess he's an ex-football player.
Yeah.
I don't follow football. But the point was, he was just talking about, you know, the gratitude he had now because, and I have to look this up, but because I'd only heard it, you know, the day we're filming, it was like, geez, because he had split up from his wife, but he said he was two different people. The person the public saw and the person in the private life wasn't the same.
Really?
And because of that, he ended up, his marriage, his wife left him. But when they got married initially, they were like, you know, dirt poor, lived in a basement apartment, and she loved him for him.
For him.
But then he became a different person.
Of course.
And it's easy then for those people and the people he surrounds himself with to kind of build him up, but artificially.
Artificially, yeah.
And so as women, we want to make sure that if you are getting yourself to a position that you don't change who you really are.
That's right.
And you still have to be nice to everybody.
And bring people up with you if you can. You know?
Then have that gratitude for yourself, but for other people.
Exactly. And show them the way.
And show them the way. And
a lot of people are looking for that. Like, you know, just a little hint, a little tip, you know, do this, be like this, you know. I remember my daughter once went to a job fair or whatever, and she was trying to get on an interview with a school board, and this woman, you know, really helped her and said, no, do this, do that, do this, and bang, worked perfectly. You know, but if she would have said, let her find her own way. That's not the way. We all need help. We all need help. What do they say? It takes a village. It does take a village.
It does take a village.
You know? And if you're looking down, that means you've done well. So those people that you see there that need your help, do it.
Well, you started from somewhere, so why don't you help that next person?
Exactly.
Because I have to tell you, I have seen people become very quickly successful, and all of a sudden now they look down on other people in a very negative way, and they're not willing to help. They're not willing to share some of the things that help them, you know, get ahead in life.
I find those people, and I know a few of them.
Yeah.
That
we all do.
They came up the ladder, they've got money, and now they want to show off.
Yes.
They want to be, and they'll even keep their circle of friends so that they're always the one with the nicest car, the biggest house, going on the best trip. That's so wrong.
Yeah.
So wrong. You know, I feel that those people can't be very happy. You know, because
probably not.
It's if you can't share what you have and help give people a lending hand, what is your life like? I always feel better when I'm giving. Always love to help people, and that's just our nature. But some people, oh no, they want to hoard it over other people.
It's true.
You know,
sad. Recently, when I was going to the gym, I was actually talking, again, it's not a woman, but it happened to be a young gentleman that was the receptionist at the gym. And he only does that on the weekends because he works full time. But, you know, he was just, when he found out what I was doing, he just started asking some questions and stuff. And I said, listen, you know, like if you're on LinkedIn, connect with me. So, you know, he said, well, I haven't actually built a profile yet, but he said, do you mind if I take, because this is confidential stuff when I'm at the gym, my email address. And he said, do you mind if I connect with you through email? Because if there's a way I can help him, you know,
right?
There's no issue. I said, absolutely. So he takes a picture of my email so that he can reach out to me and talk to me because he wants to go, you know, and follow into that profession.
And that's another point. Don't be afraid to ask.
Yes. And we've talked about that in the past.
If you see somebody that's doing what you want folks to do in the future, ask them. Say, you know, maybe we could get together and talk about it. This is something I'm interested in. Maybe you could help me. The person could say, I don't have time for this. But then you might get someone like Linda that says, absolutely.
And you know what's interesting? There are a lot of successful people that actually are willing to help. All you have to do is ask. And so they don't want to give advice if you're not asking for it because they don't want to push themselves on you.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that they're not willing.
About it, you know, you're
right. But it's not like they, you know what I mean? It's if you want it.
Exactly.
Just ask for it.
Exactly.
Because there are a lot of people, and for all those people that are not willing to help you, there's probably 10 or 20 that will help you.
Exactly.
So, you know, you just stay away from those people, but don't change the way you are just because somebody else has been really negative towards you. Again, we don't know what's going on in their life, their background, that maybe there's a reason.
People do bring
their baggage
just to work because they get up in the morning, it's on their mind. They get to work, it's on their mind, and then somebody starts asking them to do this and do that, and it's the last thing you want to do because you're, you know, thinking about another issue. And that's another thing. If you are going through something, it's probably good if you did talk to your boss. You know, I mean, I had an issue at work also, and I went in and talked to my boss, and that's many moons ago, sexual harassment kind of stuff.
Oh.
And it wasn't like it is now.
Yeah.
Back then, it was like almost, and I was asked the question by his boss, was I provoking him? Hello, I'm sitting at my desk looking beautiful. That's not my fault. And he had the problem. He was, you know, pushing himself on me. So but not really much was done. He wasn't fired or anything, just talked about and say, stop that now. But nowadays, it's a different story,
Well,
right?
I was going to say it is and it isn't. Let me tell you what happened.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, coming out of the gym, there's a new receptionist at the gym when I was leaving. And this young lady was coming in, dressed quite sexy for work, for a workout. I wear, sweats and I'll say baggy t-shirts and, baggy sweatpants or yoga pants, but nothing tight now, mind you. I'm old. They're not going to be looking at me anyway. But that's not the point.
That's not the point.
The point is, so this young, beautiful girl goes in, and I'm going out, she's going in, and I saw the guy at the reception, I'll say, ogling her.
Uh-huh.
And then he looked at me because he saw that I had seen him. So he got caught, caught red-handed. And he goes, oh, that's my future wife.
Oh.
I said, well, good luck with that. But that's that whole thing, though. I mean, you've got to be careful.
Goes on,
It still goes on because men are men.
Men are men.
But the thing is, if she had heard or realized what he had done, she could feel that, you know what, it was something to bring to the attention because men have to control themselves. I'm sorry. I know, ladies, you like to dress nice, whatever.
And you know what? She probably felt so good in that outfit. It could have been brand new, whatever, but when she put it on, she felt good. So, some people say, well, they shouldn't dress like that. Well, excuse me. That's the way I want to dress. I mean, I'm sure she wasn't hanging out all over. It just maybe shaped her body.
Oh, because she was, beautiful. I have to say, she was very attractive. So,
And the men should respect women more.
Yeah.
And that's what I find. They don't respect them when they look gorgeous or whatever. They have to make comments. I mean, I know you want to say, well, you should be happy that you're being noticed, but not in that way.
I know that was a little bit off topic, but it's just one thing always leads to another.
But it can be a workplace problem.
It absolutely
and
can.
You have to stand up for yourself. You have to say, I'm sorry. I don't want you to talk to me in this manner. Whatever. Like at my time, I was married, so I would say, jokingly, hey, I'm a married woman. Back off. But at that time you kind of kept it light, but then it got to a point you had to confront it. So you must stand up for yourself, and you can't let other women or men disrespect you at work or at home.
That's right. And that it really doesn't matter, but it seems to be sometimes women seem to be the harder on another woman.
Yes, you're right, at work. So please, women, do your best to be kind to other women. Help them, because in the long run, you will be noticed for that.
You will, because you will stand out.
You will stand out.
People that think that when they put somebody else down, that makes them feel better.
Or look better.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It absolutely doesn't. And people notice that. They absolutely do.
Yeah.
They absolutely do. But it's just, one of the things is that don't be afraid to confront.
Mm-hmm.
Deal with the situation right away.
Right away.
Get it out.
Clear the air.
Yes, because it's going to be so much better for you to work and to go to work, not thinking about, oh God, I don't know what's going to happen today, whatever that they're going to be saying or doing or whatever.
Right.
It's not going to help your job. It's not going to help your psyche. It's not going to help your self-esteem.
That's right.
And if you think you might get fired, that person might get you fired without you even realizing it.
Exactly. Either way.
Either way, so that you have to clear the air.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you put it out on the table, everybody knows what's going on. Exactly. If it still continues, you might just mention it to your boss.
Yeah.
Just say, I'm feeling a bit that this person is like down on me. I don't know what to do.
And I don't know why, and I don't know what to do about it. Yeah.
And get some help from that way, because you get
know your rights.
Yes.
Know what your job description is.
Yeah.
And what is expected of you. And then you have your ammunition to go and say, listen, I've done nothing wrong.
Right. And just get that guidance that, you know what I mean? Your boss is going to help you, because if you're doing your job, they're going to want to keep you. Because
That's right.
most companies know it's not easy to get good help.
No, especially now after
yeah.
COVID.
Yeah, it's
Nobody
even more
wants to work.
That's right. It's even more difficult.
Yeah.
But we hope you enjoyed this show, and we just expect you to support and lift each other up.
Exactly.
Don't be bringing anybody down, because that's not going to help anybody in the long run.
That's right.
So, I'm Linda.
I'm Andrea.
And we hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Success in Women. And we'd like you to
share,
like,
and please subscribe.
We can't do it without you, ladies.
Lift us up.
Lift us up. Until next week.
Bye.